Hello everybody and welcome to the video. My name is Midway and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I sure am. So today I bring you a new build for archers. It can also work for other classes, but today we're going to be doing it for archers, and it's a stunned based build, right? So it's all about stunning your enemy. It's all about keeping it there still, so that you can do enough damage to kill it before it actually can just destroy you, right? So it's gonna be based all around using your skill delays, right? So before we get into it, please like and subscribe, really helps me out. And now let me just run you through what the build consists of, right? So here we are of course using an archer. It can also work for the other type of archer right there. So this is the build that you want to be using for this in the case of skills, right? So let me go through what they're gonna be doing, right? So of course we got our clone, very defensive and very offensive. It's really all just about using that blitz assault, that disarm, and that dazzled combined together with a proper skill delay, so you can guarantee yourself a longest time of straight up just never being hit by the boss, right? So of course we also have our smoke bomb, just because it's gonna be doing allowing us to do a whole lot more damage, and it's gonna combine real well with the relics we're gonna be choosing, right? So you want to be using this build. Now if you do not have, for example, clone strike or smoke bomb, you can still do this build. It's just gonna mean that you're gonna have a lot less damage. Clone strike of course is just a double-edged sword, or rather it's a double benefit instead. Or what I meant is it's also going to be allowing you to live longer, because it's going to be tanking some damage for you and also do a lot of damage, right? So not having clone strike really going to put you at a big disadvantage here with this build, but still you can make it work with just blitz assault, with disarm, and with dazzle, right? So yeah, you could replace also smoke bomb with some other option, like for example coin bomb, for the sake of just a little bit more damage, or maybe even just wild gust or worldly snare. Those would all be very offensive options, but the rest of the stuff you kind of always need it, right? So moving on to pals here, right? So what we need for pals. So pals, we can try to play around with our defense versus our offense. It's going to come down to, are we able to kill the boss in time before it kills us? Pretty much like everything else, but here you will see when I show you in the gameplay why that is really so much more important in this case, right? So we're going to have our deer here for 15% more damage resistance. We're going to have our tortoise. We can also switch around because of the shield. We're just really trying to survive. We have the snow general to reduce the enemy's attack speed, and we also have the banana for offense, and finally we have the alpine fox to increase the stun duration, right? So it really is, as I mentioned, all about playing around. Do you have enough damage to kill the boss, right? So if you do, then this build is probably the best option. It's just defensive, all-rounded, just going to give you a lot of time to do the damage. But if you're lacking the damage, then you would need to play around with the balance. So do you want to be taking out things like, for example, you could take out the tortoise and put in the octopus if you do have that. I would love to do that, but I can't. Also play around with things like Snow General, getting in the treasure dragon, could also get in the bird. Always very nice to get that extra attack speed, right? So things like those are always going to be very good upgrades when it comes to damage. Now in this type of build, the sprite isn't really that good of an option. It might allow us to get a second set of stunts, and we will try that later, but yeah, we'll see once I talk about the skill delays and how it works. We'll see why the sprite might not be that great of an option. And finally, of course, the alpine fox, as I mentioned, the stun increase duration is going to allow us to have an even bigger room for just not having to take any damage, right? So yeah, as I mentioned, you can switch around the defensive types of pals, like for example the deer, the tortoise, and the snow general for things like the treasure dragon, the octopus, as well as the bird. That is for the sake of having a little bit more damage trying to kill these bosses before they actually do anything to you. And finally, before we showcase the build, let's just go through the relics, right? So here's the last piece of the puzzle, and that is going to be the time statue. First and foremost, most important thing here, extend the effect of your disarmed, dazzled, and smoke bomb, right? So we have all three of those. We have disarm as our one type of CC, stun as the other one, which is also going to be extended by the fox, and finally the smoke bomb for more damage for a longer period of time. We also have the storm necklace for more damage onto our clone, and finally we have the immunity book, which is the last important one, which is obviously going to allow us to live for even longer. And then everything else, well, we have this because we are using the fox, and we might benefit from that as well if we have the octopus, but more than anything, this doesn't really do much more than just do a little bit of damage for us. This is also just a little bit of damage, and finally, of course, this is always just a little bit of crit rate versus combo, depending on what your stats look like. Stats are not really something we are really looking to change, particularly with this build. If we're playing this build, pretty much going to be playing just like any other archer build. We're going to be going for our crit rate and combo, and then when we are able to get some other stuff, like for example some evasion, some stun, we can also take good use of that. Stun will be a little bit stronger in this build as well because we are combining that with the fox. But yeah, those are always very good options. Of course, for the statue here, we just have full combo because we are going full damage, right? So all the things combined, all the pieces put together, let me just show you what it's really going to be about, right? So here within the skill tab, where you go to switch between the skill sets, right, we have this little clock. If you didn't know, that is a skill delay here. And as you can see here, we have a skill delay of 8 seconds. That is for Blitz Assault. And finally, we have a skill delay of 4.5 seconds for our Dazzled, right? So why is that? Well, the duration of Disarm is going to be exactly 4.5 seconds if we are using the time statue, because it's going to be extending it by 50%, right? So 3 seconds plus 50% of 3 seconds, that is 4.5 seconds. And then we combine that together with the Dazzle, right? So as soon as the effect of Disarm is done, Dazzle will actually take place, and that is also going to be increased by the time statue, which is going to bring it from 1.5 seconds to 2.25 seconds. And then that's also going to be increased by 30% by the Fox, right? So we're going to have a longer stun, which is going to bring us finally to the Blitz Assault, which will play after the stun, which will give us the immunity shield and will take no damage for the whole duration of those 3 active skills all chained together. So what we have after that we have our clone, which will of course take the damage for us and we will die. And after that happens, we're going to be dropping below 70% HP, which will trigger our immunity book, again having some more immunity time. After that happens, our tortoise will apply its shield, so we'll have a 50%, actually 30% max HP shield. And after that, it's pretty much just up to the whims of the destiny. If we are able to get another set of stuns, right, so Disarm, Stun, and Blitz Assault, if we can make that happen, maybe that they can all chain together, and we'll see how we can combine that. We'll survive it long enough, or maybe not. So let me just show you what happens here, right? It's not sped up, so we can see it a little bit better. But first of all, the Disarm is going to play out, right? So we have 4.5 seconds of the boss just doing nothing. Then it's going to be stunned for 2.5-ish. Then we have Blitz Assault, so as you can see there, I was immune. Then we pop the immunity shield from the book. And finally, well, we had the shield from the tortoise, but again, it was not enough to survive, right? So as you can see, it really is just a matter of, can I burn the boss down before it actually just slaughters me, right? So usually you would still be doing this with things like just Disarm and your clone tanking stuff for you, but this way you can get an even longer chain of immunity sort of and survivability. But as soon as all that's gone, it's really just up to your own luck, to be fair, right? So let's see how close we actually end up. Let me just sped this up by a little bit, right? So we can see how close we are to actually getting another use of Disarm, and that if we do get to that point, that's when we can actually do something happen, right? So at this point, if we try to use a sprite, let's see if we can make that happen a lot easier, right? So what things can actually help us here, right? So of course, maybe removing the the snow general here and putting the sprite in there. We can try and do it again and see how that plays out. Do we get another use of the Disarm? Of course, we are making the boss is now going to be attacking a little bit faster, so it's going to be doing a little bit more damage, but it really is all just a matter of, since we are stun chaining, right, the boss, right, this worked a lot better, I think, with the sprite. As you could see right there, we stun chained or chain stunned the boss a lot easier because we were able to get to another use of Disarm, and then we got to another use of Dazzled, and then we would eventually get to another use of Blitz Assault. But at this point, the cooldown of all the abilities is kind of getting a little bit messed up. So let's go now here to the Soul Trial. Let me show you again a little bit how this is gonna work, right? So we got all the CC going on, we got the stun now, we got Blitz Assault now. We're going to take the damage now, shield, we have the tortoise shield, then we have another use of Disarm into another use of the stun, and now we don't have Blitz Assault just yet, and that's the problem here. Even though we have the sprite, the cooldown of Blitz Assault is so long, we're not able to get it again so that we can complete the cycle. At that point, we're almost getting another use of Disarm coming back around, right? But this way, we are able to make the whole cycle complete a lot easier, right? You can see right there, we get another Disarm into another stun, although the stun is a little bit longer, takes a little bit longer to come back, because because we put it on cooldown later. So yeah, it's still not right there to chain it. We're still taking a lot of damage in between. If we're able to get some lucky with evasion stuff, or we just whatever, we get a stun at some point, we could just complete that chain and make it perfect. But still at this point, it's really just somehow I got connection issues. But really, it's just a matter of, do you have enough damage to squish in between all that CC to be able to survive, right? So anyways, until this thing actually unstuns itself, someone's talking about stunning the game stun itself. Whenever this decides to actually work, let me just close it and open it again. Yeah, I'll show you, obviously. Hopefully you try out your build, try out this build for yourself. I think it's definitely worth a little bit of love, and put it just try it out and see if it works. I think it's definitely going to be doing some good work for a lot of you guys. In this case, for me, it actually allowed me to go one stage higher, right? And I think I can beat that other Souls trial as well eventually. But yeah, nonetheless, let me know if it worked for you. What would you change about it? What you think about it? If you think it's a good build or not, if it would benefit for a lot from having more stun in your build. Another good option that I didn't mention was having the bunny. The bunny would also be very damn powerful. Another way of just randomly stunning the enemy in between those gaps where it's not CC. You can just buy more time for yourself while the boss is CC'd, so you can have the bunny actually do some magic stuff right there. But nonetheless, of course, this doesn't work in PvP. This only works in PvE. This is completely disabled. All the skill delay is completely disabled in PvP, right? So it does not apply to that. But yeah, regardless, let me know what you think about it. Let me know if it's good for you or whatever. Could also try to apply this to a different class. So warriors and mages can also try and use it. Of course, mages are pretty damn strong and benefit a lot from just the stun as a whole. Nonetheless, if you haven't done so yet before you leave, please check out Aptoide. Now, Aptoide is basically a marketplace like Google Play, where you can download apps from them, right? And when you download apps from Aptoide, you are basically going to be able to get a cashback whenever you're spending money within those apps that can go from 10% all the way up to 35%, right? So this extra value you can get for yourself can be used to make purchases in the games for free, basically. You can use the bonuses you can see right here. If I was going to be spending this much money, I would get this much of a bonus because of how much bonus I have unlocked so far, right? Then I can go ahead and use the bonus that I already have to make a purchase for me. If I have enough of a bonus, I can just purchase the thing for free altogether, right? So you can increase the bonus that, as I already mentioned, goes from 10% all the way up to 35% by doing things like, for example, using my code, which is going to be down in the description as well as right there on the screen. You can also go ahead and check out within the AppCoins wallet, which is a separate app, which is in Google Play, and you can set it up for yourself pretty damn simple. There's going to be a guide down there in the description, which takes no more than 5 minutes to set it up all for yourself on your phone as well as on an emulator on your PC. And here you can see how much of a bonus you have accumulated so far. You can also see how much you need to be spending still to unlock a higher amount of a bonus. And you can also see here where you can input the promo code here, my code, which is in the screen as well as down in the description. You can put it in and unlock an extra 5% from the get-go just forever. And you can also see the events that might be going on for any game that you might be interested in playing. Those events increase the bonus you earn from spending any money within those games for a limited time, so you can get an even bigger bonus when just buying stuff in the games, right? So you get more value for yourself. You can get whatever you want within the games easier, cheaper, just good value for everybody. Of course, you do help me out if you're going to be using my code, so if you do so, thank you very much. And nonetheless, if you've got any questions and you have any difficulty setting it up or just want to know more about it, let me know down in the description, or rather actually the comment section. And yeah, that's all I got for you today, guys. Hopefully you like this video. Let me know again what you think about the build, and like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye, see ya.